Hello friends, today we are going to fold an anteater and it's going to be a fish base. So the first step is just do a diagonal fold. Crease. Then open it up and then do the exact same thing on the other side. So another diagonal fold here. Crease. Then I'm going to open this up. So this side we bring into the middle. If you are familiar with the fish base, then just go ahead and skip a few minutes of this one. We'll get there in a bit. So once you do that, open that up, do the other side. Crease. And again, not a biggie if it's not perfect. We're not aiming for perfection in this channel. We're aiming for peace and creativity. So the important thing is you're doing your best. So open that up and then the other side as well. Crease that. Oop. So I'm just going to fix that. And then crease. Flatten as much as you can. And then you have your creases for your fish base. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring this together into the middle like this. And then fold this one up. So make sure you crease the middle so it stays. And then do the same thing on the other side. Bring it together, middle, recrease, fold it up, and then crease the middle part. Okay, so this is our fish base. What we're going to do now is we're going to flip this dude over. Remember, your flaps here should be up top. So now that we have this, we're going to bring this tip into the middle. So just bring that up. Then crease. And then we're going to bring this side into the middle. So fold that up, crease. I'm going to show it to you in closer view, but it should look like this. So we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Crease. Your model should look like this now. Okay. Now the next step is we're just going to bring this tip onto the other tip. So bring it down. Then crease this part. And this is the reason why we needed the flaps folded up. So these two dudes are going to show up now. Now the next step is we're going to turn this over, flip it, and then this is going to be an interesting fold. So what we're aiming for is this side. We're going to align it into this side. And how do we do that? Well, you just do it this way, right? But as you do that, this part should open up the middle. So I'm going to try and do this slowly. Just pull that as much as you can. And then make sure that it's aligned up top. So pull and then aligned. Doesn't need to be perfect, but we're just going to try and do our best. So as you can see on this part, and then this opens up. So just follow that crease, and then just squash fold this maybe, and then just flatten this part up. So it should look like this. So we're going to repeat it on the other side. This one, we're going to fold like this. We're going to align it up top. And as we do that, the middle part follows. There is a way to not tear it up. So just keep on pulling as much as you can. And then slowly fold it down. So squash this part, fold it like this. So as long as this is looking like semi-aligned, it's totally fine. It's not a biggie if they're not super aligned. But once we're done with this part, we're gonna flip this over, and now we have this. So we're gonna open this up, and then open this up, and then what we're gonna do is this part, we're going to fold this back in, but we need to make sure that this crease, I'm just going to recrease that like this. And then what we're going to do is bring this together so it looks like this, right? And then we are going to, I'm not even sure if we can call this a squash fold, but kinda. But what we're aiming for is something like this. So I'm going to show you that part. We just did like a reverse fold of this part, but it should look like this now. And then, once you have this, just bring this part down as low as you can. And then just crease that part. So it should look like this. Okay, cool. Now, the next step is, so we have this middle fold. What we're going to do, before we do that, because this is going to be the head. Now we're going to do a reverse fold in here, but I'm going to fold it this way first, so you can see. So this is the crease that we are aiming for. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side first. Crease that dude. So we're going to have this, but what we're going to do is we're going to do a reverse fold. So I'm just going to fold that going to the other side like this. And then same thing on this one. Reverse fold. And it should look like this. Okay, now the next step is this middle part. Just fold that up, right, the middle part. So fold that up, and then we're gonna fold this back down. What we're gonna aim for is the edges of these. So fold up, and then find that edge, and then crease that part. So it should look like this now. The next step is we're going to make this part thinner. So I'm just going to fold it again like this, but this is going to be a reverse fold. So just fold that down, then crease this part, and then it should look like this. We're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Fold it down, and then crease. But like what we did with this part, we're going to do a reverse fold. So I'm just doing that now. So it should look like this. And then same thing, other side. Reverse fold. Then crease. So your model should look like this now. Okay, so we're done with the major steps. We're just going to fold this in half like this. And you can probably see your anteater now. So I'm just going to flatten this as much as I can. Again, doesn't need to be perfect, just so it should look like this now. And then we're going to do a crimp fold. So first step is you see that middle bit, so just do a recrease of that. And then we're just going to make another fold here to here, so a bit of a diagonal fold. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I'll do this maybe this way so you can see. So you can just gauge this, but it's not that big of a fold, and then we can adjust as we go along. But so this is your middle fold, and then we just did that part, right? So middle fold, and then this. Then we're going to open this up, and then we are going to use that fold that we did to bring it over like this. Just slowly push that, and then using the crease that we made, just bring that in. So if you did that right, you should have something that's looking like this on both sides. Okay, now the next step is we are going to make this a bit thinner so we can emphasize this set of feet. So what I'm going to do is a reverse fold again. So this to this. Just fold that in and aim for this point. So it should look like this now. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So this is what it looks like. We're going to fold this in. So this corner to this are the end points, I mean. So fold, crease, and you should have something that's looking like this now. The last bit is we're just going to shape the head. So it's not a biggie. What you just need to do is like move your fingers this way and then just make it look like, just shape it out slowly. And then just do a bit of a fold in here into the middle. Or just do it like this. So I'm folding this in like these two sides, right? Just to make it look more like an anteater's head. And we are done. So I messed up a bit on the tail, but it's all good. So this is the finished model. It looks nice. You learn some interesting folds, especially into the middle bit that we did earlier. But this is how it looks like. And anteaters, they don't have any teeth. They have an interesting stomach though, because they have like sharp spikes or something in their stomach, and then they have a gizzard-like part as well. So that's the thing that crushes the insects. And they're cool. They look really nice. Okay, that's it for our fold today. Go make some. Happy folding.